Oh, ladies and gentlemen, we are back again for the fourth and the final part of Ayub Kasim's waffle session. And I think this one's going to be the most interesting, eye-opening one out of them all. Why? Because Ayub slips up again.
What do you think has happened to Jay at this moment? What have you come to?
I've already seen the police now. I've already seen the police. And I wasn't getting scrutinized then, but I got scrutinized a month later, exactly a month later. That's when my face come on Good Morning Britain, and these same Nottingham lot sent to me, said, "Oh, what the fuck are you?" I had everyone telling me, "What the fuck are you doing on the TV?" And I'm thinking, wow, because I'm already thinking, this guy that I met through my guy.
Hold on, at some point in this podcast, you already mentioned that you had spoken to the Nottingham girls and let them know that you had been dealing with the police because of a missing person. From there, most people would have followed the Jay Slater case. So it wouldn't have been a surprise for them to see you in the media or online.
Literally 3 days ago, he's all over the TV. What the fuck is this? Like, you know what I'm saying? At that time, you can't comprehend. You think, bro, like, what is going on?
So what did you think? What did you think happened to Jay?
Exactly. That was the original question. And he tried to skirt it again. As usual, he's been skirting all the questions in this podcast. I big up Cullen, he was persistent with this one. He asked him the question again.
Bro, like, it was like maddest of the maddest. Like, and I say this and I say this always. I believe, like, what they said, like, yo,
who said?
He fell off the thingy. Do you know what I'm saying?
He fell off the thingy.
Whether someone pushed him or I don't know that. You know
whether someone pushed him, I don't know that.
And it's so mad that people could be saying, oh, this and that happened. And you know what's mad? Like, I can't say in 1,000,000% they're right or they're wrong. Do you know what I'm saying? Because you can prove someone's fell and hit something, but what you can't prove what's happened prior to that. Do you know what I'm saying?
You can prove that someone's fell and hit something, but you can't prove what's happened prior to that. What do you mean they can't prove what's happened prior to that? How do you know that if a thorough investigation was to take place, they couldn't prove what happened prior to that? Prior to that, he left an Airbnb that you booked, somehow found himself in a ditch, cut by a cactus. You seem to have forgot about that throughout a whole period of waffle. You were waffling. You even took us to the mountain with Lucy and still forgot to mention that when she comes to your house, she didn't tell you that Jay was cut by a cactus line in a ditch. No, she just left that bit out. If Lucy really claims that Jay was cut by a cactus line in a ditch and he felt like he was going to die, which Ayub added to that female podcaster, which was only about 3-4 days after Jay had been missing, to make it look like, oh, Jay was in a dangerous situation, but he's forgetting to add it in the podcast. Like, say, Lucy didn't tell him. But again, if that was true and he was cut by a cactus line in a ditch, why did they go looking for him at night? Why did they wait that whole day? Remember, he said that Lucy turned up to the Airbnb at 12 o'clock, in between 12 and 1 p.m. in the afternoon. She last spoke to Jay, according to the last report, and we're going to go with it, even though the times have changed multiple times, 8:50. 8:50. Now, remember, they heard the buzzer at 8 o'clock. Ophelia wanted them to move the car at 8 o'clock, so that's 50 minutes. How the hell did Jay leave the Airbnb, let's say 8:05, and then by 8:50, this guy's lying in the ditch cut by a cactus? Then Lucy turns up to the Airbnb within 3 hours, and she doesn't mention to Ayub that he's been cut by a cactus line in a ditch. And although he's been cut by a cactus line in a ditch, they just sat there all day, done nothing, and didn't go searching for him until the night. Make that make sense. Where was the urgency to go and save your friend who was allegedly in danger because he was lying in a ditch cut by a cactus? Come on, man.
But I don't want to make assumptions, say this happened or that happened, because the moment he said, I'm going, bro, and said, I'm off, and I shut my door, that's me out of this whole, do you know what I'm saying?
And
that's me out of it. So that was the part I had to play. I had to get him to the Airbnb, and once he was at that Airbnb, my job was done.
They two you knew, the mutual friends, how are they acting towards you? Were they cool with you? Did they think he was...
Like, they weren't, like, don't get me wrong, like, the one who felt it the most was Lucy, do you know what I'm saying?
The one that felt it the most was Lucy. What about Brad?
And like, through, like, all that high pressure and all of that, and like, do you know what I'm saying? Like,
High pressure.
she
Media, I
might have
guess.
said something that was out of line, and I was like, what the fuck are you on about? That's not fair. Like, do you know what I'm saying? And maybe you had like a little tiff, but
Wow. So this is a girl that you claim you don't know. She might have said something that was out of line and you had a little tiff. Or was that just delusion? Are you just making that up? I mean, which one is it? So she said something that was out of line. I'll tell you what she said that was out of line. She said that you were strangers. That's what was out of line. She said that he went to the mountains with 2 strangers when really and truly Lucy knows Ayub, but she was trying to avoid implicating Ayub. She didn't want to say, oh yeah, I know them and he's gone to the... She didn't want to say that because why? She knew that Jay was dead. She knew Jay was dead. Otherwise, she wouldn't have said you were strangers. She would have said, oh, we were all together as friends and he just wandered off. It's an easier narrative. But Lucy instantly distanced herself from Ayub and that. Why? Because she knew Jay was dead. And that's the reason why she had the screenshots. She's the one that probably got the screenshots because she wanted to ensure that Jay was found and taken back to Lancashire. But at least he's told the truth about something because Lucy was probably the one that was feeling it the most.
other than that, everyone can see in plain sight, like, yo, that you can't change that with your power. Like, within my power, I can't change whether a guy decides to leave or not. Do you know what I'm saying, bro? Unless I start using force, but there's no need for force in that sort of situation. Do you know what I mean? And because you're thinking he's on that bus stop and he's waiting for that bus to come. If that's the last image he's seen of someone, how am I meant to know that he would decide to walk up that way when the door was shut?
Guys, make sure you're listening carefully because Ayub's about to slip up shortly to prove that Lucy knew everything. Lucy knew the truth from the get-go. And that's the reason why she distanced herself from Ayub and the rest of the guys. And she's never come out and rectified that. She's never come out and said, you know what? I do know them. No, she's never said that. In fact, Ayub in this has tried to cover up for her to a degree because he threw her under the bus by saying, no, they're all my mates. He's tried to cover up for her to a degree by saying, I've only known her for as long as I know Jay. But that's BS because if you're Brandon's guy, which you definitely are, then you're Lucy's guy because them two come as a tag team.
Minutes later, do you know what I'm saying? How can I answer those sort of questions? Because I wasn't there to, do you know what I mean? And I don't want to speculate. That's the word. Do you know what I mean? Speculation sometimes can lead to like some dangerous roads. You know what I'm saying?
So you found out, we all find out Jay's past. Did you at all speak to his mother or father during those times of the inquest? The search.
Almost. I didn't find out he passed, like, because you remember they posted me on the news. I remember I was out that night with a couple of friends, and then I remember
He goes again, waffling away, trying to make things up as he goes along.
They asked me for a comment, and I went, I ain't got no fucking comment to make. But actually, furthermore, I actually do have a comment to make.
Oh my God, this guy, man. I don't have no effing comment to make, but actually, furthermore, I do have a comment to make. The comment he's actually referring to, the comment he made was the comment where he said, you see him in his last picture wearing that red blanket. That's the comment he's referring to. Wearing his red blanket, you know, like he came with that blanket. That's the comment he's actually referring to at this point.
Because I knew there was this the sort of thing now where they're gonna try and frame someone. Maybe if the police...
No one was trying to frame anyone, bro. What is this? What is this guy
to frame you? They're gonna do, as I spoke to you, what they use, yellow journalism is known as. Do you know what I'm saying, bro? And one of the things that I don't really like, most of my news information, I get it from your sort of podcast, Central Podcast, or Really Outside UK, or
Really?
Do you know what I mean? The only news like channel that I might watch for documentaries and stuff might be Al Jazeera and maybe Channel 4, because their reporting is like...
this guy's just chatting a bunch of nonsense. But don't worry, we're getting there, ladies and gentlemen. We're getting there. Hit the like button.
I can tell that, you know what I'm saying? But I still don't believe them because if you got so much money and you've got an edge and whatever people might say, people hold on to power, do you know what I'm saying? And if you want to hold on to power. You've got to feed some sort of narrative, agenda. And I'm just talking about mainstream news in general. And I think
So you find out that Jay passes away. What's your initial thought?
it's closure now. You know what I'm saying? It's closure now. Then that's what I thought at the time. And it was like, so we weren't, because somewhere in you, you're saying to yourself, yo, I hope they find him. He maybe took some wrong turn and that. No pun intended, but.
Oh my God, another one. He maybe took some wrong turn in that. No pun intended. For those that don't know, Wrong Turn, another horror movie that resembles The Hills Have Eyes. But the theme of the movies are more or less the same. Why would he use those two movies? Why? Why would he use those?
Yo, and he'll be found and he'll be like, yo, fucking hell, I've lost my phone. It's the most craziest. I've ended up there or whatever. Do you know what
I've lost my phone. Wow. Why was lost my phone the first thing that rolled off your tongue? Interesting.
I'm saying? That's what I was hoping for. So when I didn't hear that, it was sad, like, do you know what I'm saying? Because I don't know, something about, I don't know, we always accept, like, yo, life is life, and one day your time will be over. Some will be earlier than later, but you don't expect that when it does happen around you, like, as in, like, a person that you was there, like, you seen, and then you hear, like, a month and a half later, because month later they posted my face, and then 2-3 weeks after that, it was like, you heard, like, during that, they said that very, what's the word I'm looking for, bro? It's not what you want to hear in it. And I didn't want to hear that at that time. Do you know what I'm saying? There was something in me telling me all that time, yo, he's gonna pop up, he'll be all right, he'll be all right. Do you know what I'm saying?
Did where he was found, was that anywhere near you were searching?
Nah, because where we were searching was in and around near my apartment. Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
why would you be searching in and around the Airbnb? That makes no sense. The screenshots show you where the phone last pinged. Now, what's extremely weird about those screenshots as well is that there's an update and it says the phone last updated at 8:27 and it was showing in that location in the mountains, not near the Airbnb, but in the ravine. So again, if the buzzer went off at 8 o'clock and let's say Jay left at 8:05, how did Jay get to that point of destination when the phone wasn't last updated until 8:27? Make sense. That would have only meant Jay went walking for about 20 minutes.
Obviously I was driving, and then when we was kind of like going to his location, it was like, driving is a bit faster, but from walk wise, it was a good 20-30 minutes behind mine. Do you know what I'm saying? That was the last known location. Do you know what I'm saying?
So why didn't you go there then? Why was you searching in and around the Airbnb?
And this wish.
And did he just say he drove there to that location? So you did go to the location then? Because the original question was, did you search the location where Jay was found? And you said no. But he was found in the ping location where his phone was. Like literally, like they missed the body. They missed the body because it was in an area which was inaccessible due to the information that the Guardia Civil would have been given originally, that he was compos mentis, confident, knew what he was doing. There was no need for him to be down there. The only way Jay would have got down there is with ropes and a harness. So if Jay actually knew what he was doing and was just walking to try and get back to his hotel, he would have never have looked down there and said, yeah, you know what, I'm going down there. It wouldn't have made any sense. It's instant danger. So it doesn't make any sense how Jay fell off the edge. The only way Jay could have fallen off that edge is if he was already dead and thrown down there, or he was pushed.
In the dark, so I can't really see all of these landscapes as into where he ended up going.
Exactly. So why would you be searching in the dark? That doesn't make any sense. Come on, this is absolute bullshit.
Man.
Yeah. And do you know the place where he was found now? Like, from you
Nah. I'd get in my car and go that way. The only time I'd ever walk that side of the mountain or drove that side is by looking for him. You know what I'm saying? But I had no reason to go that way.
And that way is what? Nothing.
It is like, don't get me wrong, like, the only thing I can put it to is, yeah, the road is a winding road and it's a small road and it's a one-way road, but people use it as a two-way road. Because technically, if I was to search that radius to where he was going, he'll take me that way down the mountain, down that road, go all the way around and then out the other way. Do you know what I'm saying? But you would look at that and think, or just in general, people wouldn't, they know it makes more sense to drive this way because a 4-hour journey turns into a 45 minutes, half an hour one if I just go this way. I get it, it's a one-way road, but you're just squeezing down that one-way road with oncoming cars. Like, you know what I'm saying, it's mental.
Do you think that Jay was, you know, like you said, he was texting his mates. Do you think that Jay was fleeing away from you and, you know, being in the house?
I mean, I wouldn't say per se fleeing from me, do you know what I'm saying? Because I was just in my bed, like, do you know what I'm saying, from start, like.
I wouldn't say fleeing from me, but what would you say? Fleeing from someone?
Other than giving him a blanket and what I mentioned earlier, and pillow, and telling him that's a charger and that, and from moving my car. Anytime he was in that gaff and I was in that gaff, I was on my bed, do you know what I'm saying? Like,
Was it only you two in the gaff then?
it's like,
Was there no one else in that gaff?
if anything, when that Mark guy, the detective guy, TV detective.
Because you have to remember, when they keep talking about the Airbnb, Rocky's name just doesn't get mentioned. The only part Rocky plays is walking into the Airbnb, going straight into the room and falling asleep. This comes across like it's Ayab and Jay in the Airbnb and them two
To
only.
me, oh, he'd had 2 lives or something along them lines. Like, I still don't know if that's even true, do you know what I mean? But I thought to myself, fucking hell, I could have been in danger. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, let's not forget that. Do you know what I'm saying? But thank God nothing happened in that gaff per se. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, or on his part or my part. Do you know what I'm saying? And fleeing or like, I don't know about anything about fleeing, but he obviously.
It's so weird how he can't explain anything that happened at the Airbnb. Like, he can't explain it. There's like, this is things that he hasn't actually thought about. You know, when you mention, oh, so what did you and Jay get up to in the Airbnb? I just sat on my bed until they knocked on the door and asked me to flipping move the car. It has to be that simple. We can't overcomplicate things, because if you start asking me about other things that happened in the house, later on down the line, I ain't going to be remembering those things that happened in the house. So let me just say, I sat on the bed. Yeah, I heard him downstairs, but that's about it. Even on that basis, you heard him downstairs, that could have been Rocky. We know that because Rocky's room was downstairs, allegedly. So again, they can't tell us nothing about what happened in the Airbnb. For all we know, Jay could have been sitting in the corner, silent, just, you know, spazzing out. Like, we don't know, like, what was actually happening in that Airbnb.
He don't want to stay there because he said he's going to go and get food. But even though we had a food about an hour and 10 minutes prior to that, or hour 20 minutes, however.
Hour and 10, hour and 20, it doesn't really matter. But you see how he's probably trying to think about the time. And that's how you know he's making it up. You went and got a kebab. Jay ate, but still wanted to eat an hour later. Make it make sense. You went and got a kebab. Rocky didn't eat, which means Rocky went to sleep that night starving, drunk out of his face, which we're going to see in a second. And he didn't have anything to eat.
You know what I mean? So I could tell he didn't want to be there, but and
you can tell he didn't want to be there, but initially he was adamant that he wanted to go back to your Airbnb with you. How all of a sudden has he gone there and not wanted to be there? And then you're getting that vibe from him that he doesn't actually want to be there. So as a person that is a genuine friend to the person that connected you with this guy, why don't you just say, you know what, don't worry, let me get you a cab, send you straight back to your hotel, bro. Or let me jump on the phone to my pal, Brandon, and yeah, he can sort it out for you, bro, yeah? Or do you want to call them? How about you just connect to the Wi-Fi? You can message anyone that you want to message. You can arrange it. What's going on? It seems to me if Jay left and he feared for his life, he was in fear because his friends were out to get him. Maybe Brandon wanted to get him. Maybe Bradley wanted to get him. Maybe Lucy was out to get him. But I don't believe that was the case. Because you know what? I don't believe Jay even stepped foot in the Airbnb.
And always in my life, if someone don't want to do nothing or they don't want to be somewhere, I'm the type of guy to say, yo, bro, the door's open. Still away, go. Do you know what I'm saying, bro?
Yeah.
I'm not, I'm not. So,
was there a possibility that there could have been other people that you might not have known of,
Very good question.
could have found out where he was and where you were staying, the same way Lucy did?
Unless Lucy told them, I don't.
Unless Lucy told them. How can Lucy tell them when she didn't know where he was? Oh my God. How can Lucy tell anyone where Jay is if she doesn't know where your Airbnb is? She found your Airbnb through the picture Jay allegedly put on his Snapchat. So remember, the question was, could anyone that you don't know have found out where Jay was? And his response was, only if Lucy would have told them. Let's just pull that back 1 second and let's hear that again.
Could have found out where he was and where you were staying, the same way Lucy did.
Unless Lucy told them, I don't see, like, or would they worked it out from his Snapchat? I don't know, but
Or they worked it out from his Snapchat. This guy is chatting so much BS. This is mad.
that's me just like going into other things that I don't have definitive answers for. Do you know what I'm saying? And I don't want to speak on something I'm not 100% sure about.
But are these like, have these thoughts come into your head, like,
Bro, I get messages and that on TikTok, Instagram, mentioning names that I've never heard of, saying this is a revenge attack for that. People are telling me who I've been in prison with and who I know. And I'm like, how are you telling me who I know and who I like? Do you know what I'm saying? They were saying, oh, I've met this guy's dad who Jay's attacked in the past, and through his dad, meeting him in jail. I'm like, bro, I've never been to a northern jail in my life. The most northern prison I've ever been was Leicester. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
So
that doesn't mean anything because, you know, Tom's dad could have been shipped to Leicester. One thing we do know is that the authorities can look into the jails that Ayub has been to and see what other prisoners were in that jail. Is one of those prisoners Tom Hilton's dad? I don't know, but they'll be able to find that information out.
the myth?
That's a myth. Do you know what I'm saying, bro? So
It could be a myth. I mean, I've never really bought into that. You've never really seen me peddle that information, but it is something that's still on the table, and it definitely is possible due to the fact that he's already confirmed that he's friends with Brandon. That's where the ties come from. You're Brandon's guy. And if you're Brandon's guy, it means you're Lucy's guy. And if you're Lucy's guy, then there's a strong possibility that you could be connected to Tom Hilton because Lucy has been connected to Tom and so has Brandon. They have both been connected to Tom to the point where they're liking Tom's pictures on Facebook and Instagram and all of that type of stuff.
get all of these names thrown at me. Do I know them? And have I got any associates with them? No, like we're from different parts of the world.
But so are you and Brandon. Brandon is from Burnley with Lucy. You're from London.
The only way we've ever linked up or ended up linking is because a mutual friend of both of us brought us together.
Yeah, and that is Brandon.
You know what I'm saying? And it's genuinely.
And Brandon is only what, 21 years old? Why are you rolling with 21-year-olds, 20-year-olds? Why?
And that's what's the most craziest part. Like someone that I don't even know, like to that certain extent, can like literally have that much of an impact on all of our, like everyone's like intertwined. You know what I'm saying? Not what is this? It's a very like mad situation.
There was a talk about a boat that went off the sea. There was the talk of the beach and the videos, the videos late at night in the other town near you. These with the church and stuff. Did you look into any of them and think that was a possibility?
No, I didn't, bro, because I was watching this American kid called Joseph Morris and that old fella, yeah. And the internet is the internet. If you do your research on thingies, you find the people out. And that he was the one that was peddling all those. Someone shouted "quack quack." Like that might be my social media and that, but my pals and that like don't call me quack quack. Do you know what I'm saying? Like
Another lie. There we have another lie. Why is that another lie? Because when him and Rocky were live, someone was asking questions about the Jay Slater case. Rocky didn't want to talk about the Jay Slater case, doesn't know what to say. And Ayub digging himself a hole. And what was Rocky's response? Yo, quack, 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 quack. Stop it. Cut it out, bro. Cut it out, bro. That's what he said to you. So if Rocky's, what, Rocky's not your boy? Rocky's your boy. He was calling you quack, quack. So, all right, your name's not quack, quack. It's Baker. Which one is it? Quack, quack, Baker?
As a joke and that between us, but in like serious situations, as that beach situation was meant to be, my mate ain't going to be shouting, oi, quack, quack. Like,
Well, he done that live on stream, so I don't know.
I'm saying it's not like, I'm saying like,
And unless it's someone who knows you from Instagram, but you weren't even you wasn't posting on Instagram at that time.
No. It's this is a mate that literally knows me since young, and that's you never would call me that. Maybe there's a joke or some like banter.
Well, it's like
you would never call me that. Oh man, this guy's
it's like having an we spoke about this before about everyone's first email address being like, I don't know, Liverpool FC or Tupac for life. It's like,
it's so weird because someone actually messaged me and told me that Rocky mentioned that he's not even Quack Quack's boy. I don't know where that come from. I haven't seen any evidence of that whatsoever, but someone did mention that Rocky said on his live that him and Quack Quack ain't really boys like that. So I don't know.
That's like,
and then saying that, didn't Ayub mention in this podcast that the person he was in Tenerife with, he hadn't seen in years? He said that person was going to Spain regularly because they were seeing a ting in Spain. Maybe that could be Rocky.
Putting that together and saying, I heard him say TupacForLife.com, and you're like, but that's not my name, bro.
Yeah, I know what you mean, bro. And I've seen this guy, like, and I'll mention his name because I've actually, like, these people need to be warned off the internet, and people need to be warned off like them because
wow, so you mentioned Joseph Morris because he needs to be warned off the internet. Okay, let's see if you mention my name.
For a bit of money, like a bit of likes and a bit of thingy, there was sensationalized things that literally don't mean nothing.
Maybe others might.
Ain't nothing,
but not me, bro.
Wrong with
you know the true facts, bro.
And you will use that, and it's mad because they got people that follow them and are impressionable and watch this stuff. Do you know what I mean? Like there was things I was watching the other day. Lady on TikTok was saying, "We've come back, and from my car, we bundled him into another car. Furthermore, if you don't mind me showing you that video where."
Interesting. So for those that don't know, this is Rocky. So we can hear someone laughing. I can only kind of hear one voice at this moment in time laughing. People say there's 3 voices in this clip. What comes in next is the audio that Ayub released. Now, I don't know if the audio and that laughing has been connected together to make it look like it's one audio. We can't see Jay at this point. But there's something that jumps out to me at this point, looking at this that we see on the screen right now. It's that light, and it's the building with the green garage door. Why does that jump out to me? It jumps out to me because of this. This right here, the picture of Jay in the back of the car. Now, this isn't the cleanest of pictures. There is a better version of this picture, but unfortunately, I just couldn't find it. So I've had to use this one. So it is a bit blurred, but I know when I was analyzing this picture, it was the official and the original picture. But if you look into the glasses, you can see there is a light and there is a building with a green door on it. Now that is basically that behind their car. See, the only problem is if the car was parked in the position that it's parked in now, where Rocky's sitting in the front, then how would Jay have the reflection of the garage door and the light in his glasses? It means that the car would have had to have been facing the garage door and the light. Another weird thing about this picture as well, the driver's side is really close to the wall. So I'm thinking, how did the driver get out of the car? Especially if it's Ayub driving. How did Ayub get out the car? I was looking at a picture of the Airbnb with that red car there and another car next to it. And with that car next to it, it meant that there was no way for any car to have got out. But also, there would have been the tiniest bit of space for anyone to have got out the driver's side. It wouldn't have made sense to park your car there because you are literally blocking the whole road. So why did Ayub park the car there, go in and go to sleep? Unless they're using this video as a reference for their story. Because here we can see the car's parked there. it doesn't mean the car stayed there. Logically, if that car stayed there, that car would have to be moved if a car from behind needed to drive out. And that's kind of the story that's been painted for us. Ophelia knocked on the door because she wanted them to move the car. But any sensible driver would not have parked the car there. So there's a number of things that you kind of clock with this picture, but the two for me is the J in the back of the car picture and, you know, trying to squeeze yourself out of the driver's side of this car because it looks like it's right next to the wall. It's definitely tight, it's extremely tight. Even looking at this from a different angle, looking at a different car in that space next to the red car. Logic tells me you wouldn't just leave your car there. So that's what makes me believe that they're using this picture as a point of reference for their story. This is where the car was parked when Ophelia knocked on the door and told them to move the car. For some reason, looking at this, I've got a feeling that Ayub wasn't even driving. I think this is another facade. I think this is another bit of BS. Rocky and Ayub were live at NRG at 1:30 together. We saw them in that picture. This is Rocky wearing the same t-shirt. In fact, in that picture with Ayub in NRG, Rocky's wearing white shorts. Well, I've got another picture of Rocky that night, and the whole set he's wearing is a Hugo Boss set. White Hugo Boss shorts. So that was definitely Ayub and Rocky in the NRG festival at 1:30 to 2 o'clock in the morning when Lucy was walking down the stairs. Brandon walks over to them and Jay looks like he's on the verge of collapsing.
Yeah. 2 bottles there. That one.
Headshot. He looks like someone done a hit.
Through the window.
Through the window. See, that's the bit where people think that's a third voice. Through the window. But it does sound like there's two people talking there. And to a degree, it could be Jay's voice. Like, it does sound like someone that is from that area. Bearing in mind, Ayub does roll with a lot of youngers that are from that area.
Yeah.
2 bottles there. That one.
Headshot. He looks like someone done a hit.
Through the window.
Ha, 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 through the window. And I'm pretty sure he says soz. Like, is he saying soz? Let's just pull it up one more time.
Yeah. 2 bottles there. That one.
Headshot. He looks like someone done a hit.
So that does sound like Ayub up until this point. But then someone else starts laughing and says through the window. Is that Ayub? Is that someone else? Some people believe it's someone else.
Through the window.
You know
It says soz. It sounds like he's saying soz. I don't know. Maybe he was about to say something else and the audio was cut from there.
He's saying, "Oh, that's that 2 bottles of Henny, that lad." Like,
And where is that to?
that's outside, literally the building in Mascot.
Well, just for anyone else, for anyone else, just
I just don't understand how Jay was so smashed out of his face, but then he was confidently saying that's 2 bottles of Henny to the head, like say he wasn't even waved himself. Like he had sobered up that quick. I just don't buy it. Let's really think about it. When we go back to the NRG festival, when we see Ayub and Rocky in the corner, Rocky and Ayub are standing there. Rocky's standing there, Ayub standing there. At 1:30 in the morning, Jay is absolutely levered to the point, like I said, looks like he's going to collapse. But then when they get to the Airbnb, Rocky's the one that's levered and Jay's wide awake again saying, that's 2 bottles of Henny to the head. He says it's 2 bottles of Henny to the head. Seems like it's all jokey. You go into the Airbnb, then all of a sudden, Ayub starts getting the feeling that Jay shook and Jay wants to leave. Jay doesn't want to be there. Make it make sense, man.
I can clarify that, like, because you might cover his face and you go, well, how do we know that's not someone else? Or that wasn't Jay? Or, you know, so yeah.
You've seen him, yeah, and that was, I mean, and you know what's funny? Like, and that's like literally right outside the building where
Outside the villa? Or?
yeah, outside this. Well, really a villa, it's more like a cottage, but that's literally outside of it. Do you know what I'm saying? That's where I parked my car and that's where they told me to move it.
It wouldn't have made sense to park your car there. Again, that's a point of reference for his story, so he remembers. So he remembers what the story was. Absolute BS. No driver would have parked their car there because you are blocking every single car that is parked behind. No driver would have done that.
The next day they told me, "Oh, move your car from there."
The next day, didn't you get there at 6:30, 6:40 in the morning?
Apparently, someone who's got loads of followers on TikTok, and most of these people are following them because of this whole situation. I've had people message me say, "Oh, that person made 50K from the lives they were doing."
Of course,
That person, yeah, do you know what I mean, and shit like that. And so these people that, all right, cool, the thing's kind of fizzled out now. They're like, authorities have said, look, he's fallen, and the evidence leads to that. But now they're saying, I bundled him into a car when we landed, and there was 7 of us and shit like that. You just saw that there right in video, bro. And I've had this video all the time, but I don't feel like Macy, bro. I need to explain myself to anyone, like in unless.
What are you here doing? So what are you doing here then? Why are you here in December explaining yourself? How many times have you gone on live, and how many times have you given your side to the story?
Not in what's the word I'm looking for? Like, whether they believe me or they don't, it's no skin off my nose, bro.
Again, ladies and gentlemen, another video where I promised we were going to be revealing a number of lies, and that's exactly what Ayub displayed once again in this video. Lie after lie after lie. The most important thing we got out of this podcast is that Brandon, Ayub, and Lucy know exactly what happened to Jay Slater. Guys, I need you to hit that like button, leave all your comments down below. Let me know exactly what you are thinking. I'm aiming to do another video, 5 things we learned from this waffle session. We'll also be dropping some more Jay Slater content, various other bits and pieces as well, guys. You don't want to miss out. Make sure you hit the like button. Do subscribe to the channel if we are new. And I look forward to seeing you guys on the next one.